Well, today in our Money Matters segment, we're talking about the importance of having a trust and when you might need one.
Joining us in studio today is our financial expert, Ernest Burley. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We're talking about trust today, but tell us, what is a trust?
Well, a trust is a legal contract that allows a person to move their assets to a person called a trustee to manage those assets for the benefit of beneficiaries. So it's a legal way to just move your stuff somewhere to manage it for beneficiaries down the line. Mm-hmm.
So how do you find someone to be your trustee, or are you the trustee?
Well, you can be your own trustee. Also called, the person who creates the trust is called the grantor. But you can be a trustee of your own trust also. So it depends on what you want to do. I have a trust, I'm my trustee. And then you have people lined up behind you if something unfortunate happens to you, become incapacitated, you pass. Then you have people that will step in to become the trustee afterwards.
So last week you talked about wills. This week, trust. What's the difference between the two?
Well, there are quite a few differences. Like a will takes effect after you pass away, versus a trust can take effect while you're still living, right? Also, a will is a public document. People can do like a court search and find out who inherited your assets, how much they got, and all that kind of stuff, versus a trust does not. The assets and beneficiaries are not a public document, so you get some privacy with a trust. And also, a trust is a more complex type contract or document versus a will is a very simple document. So those are some of the main differences.
All right, so how would I might know that I need a trust? What kind of assets would I have that a trust could protect?
Speak with an attorney. See, I'm not an attorney, so I would recommend everyone speak with an attorney. And they have you fill out like a multi-page questionnaire to find out where you are, what you want to do with your assets after you pass. And they'll let you know whether you need a will or a trust, because not everybody needs a trust, right? So they need that questionnaire information along with a conversation with you, and they'll be able to tell you which one you should probably have.
So does one need to be wealthy to have a trust?
No, not at all. I just said I have one. I'm not wealthy.
Okay.
No, you do not. Not at all.
Okay. What are some advantages of having a trust that a will doesn't give you?
Well, like I said, the trust stays more private, right, as opposed to the will is a public document for the most part. You can have it while you're living as opposed to the will is after you pass. But here are some things that are pretty beneficial also. You can manage your assets much more differently than in a will. So like with a trust, you can say, well, hey, I want 25% to go to Johnny after he turns 18, another 5% at age 20, another 10% at age when he gets married or whatever. You can't do that with a will. A will is processed during the probate process. All of it goes out, right? So the trust allows you to kind of stagger stuff out as you want to. Also, if you have children with special needs, or if you're responsible for someone with special needs, it gives you much more flexibility to take care of them. If you have a blended family, so there are a lot of different things that a trust can do that a will cannot.
So what point should someone consider whether they should have a trust or not?
Well, speak with an attorney. That's what I recommend. So if you're in your, I recommend a person when they're in their 20s or 30s. I probably should have had one in my 20s, because when I purchased a home when I'm at my mid-20s. So at that point, it depends on what your assets are, what you want to do with your assets after you pass, but a lot of people aren't thinking about that at a young age. So speak with an attorney, and they will be able to see, okay, what you have, what you want to do with those assets while you're living and after you pass, and they'll kind of make a recommendation based on that.
So I know when you make a will, you can kind of go and update it as many times as you want. Does the same thing apply to a trust?
Yeah, you can update it as much as you want. Okay. Same thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cost a little bit more, though.
Talk about irrevocable and revocable trust.
So a revocable trust, you can make a lot of, you can make changes to it very easily, very readily. And that's a big difference from irrevocable trust. An irrevocable trust, you lose control of your assets in an irrevocable trust, right? And it's very challenging to make changes to that thing or terminate it, because it gives you certain tax breaks, and there are a lot of different criteria around that aren't on a revocable trust. So big difference between the two.
So is that the only reason why one might have one over the other, for those tax breaks and things like that?
Yes, that's why most people have it, to reduce their estate tax burden. So most people don't want to lose asset control. But some people, if they have enough in assets, they want to cut back on that estate tax situation and their other tax benefits. Some of them are willing to do that.
All right.
Not most.
I see. Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Burley, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And individuals should contact their own financial professionals and attorneys to help answer questions about specific situations or needs before taking any action based on this information.